what we're going to be seeing on the high street this autumn, and what are the easiest, most wearable fashion trends for the season ahead. Well, hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kira and I'm your resident style solutionist. I create videos on shopping for the best basics on the high street, how to build a capsule wardrobe, and lots of trend videos. So if that sounds good to you, then do hit subscribe because I would love to have you back for more videos. So today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, which is trends. And I'm going to be covering the biggest autumn fashion trends for 2025. I'm going to be showing you what we're going to be seeing on the high street this autumn and what are the easiest, most wearable fashion trends for the season ahead. This is a really great way to get inspiration for how to restyle what we already have in our wardrobes. You do not need to go and overhaul your wardrobe. You do not need to get rid of things. You also don't need to buy a whole bunch of new things. This is simply inspiration for what we're going to be seeing, and it offers a lot of great ideas on how you can restyle what you already have. Having said that, I have done some of the hard work for you, and if you are looking to shop these trends, I have some handy shopping edits already done for each trend. You'll see them here on screen and I'll also link them in the description below. All the info that you need will be there. I have so many fashion trends, but you're gonna have to stay until the very end to hear my absolute favorite one. But without rambling on too much, let's get straight into these trends with number one, which is the Western trend. If you watched my previous trend videos for spring summer, you will have heard about the Western trend already. It has really been dominating this entire year across the fashion landscape, and it is all over the high street as well. The Western trend is something I absolutely love, but you don't need to go head to toe cowboy to nail this look. If anything, I think adding elements is the best way to do this. The Western trend definitely inspired our dressing in the warmer months, but coming into autumn winter, it can still absolutely be incorporated. First thing that I think about with the Western trend is denim, and lots of it. Think double denim, think mix and matching different styles of denim. Denim shirts are a really key part of this trend. Fabrics like suede, corduroy, those kind of details are a huge part of this trend. And again, if it's something that you just don't love, then feel free to ignore it. However, you will be seeing it on the high street this year, and we saw so much of it on the runways as well. The second trend we're going to look at is the color brown. Brown is going nowhere. It is still the new black. It has been huge for this whole entire year. Official Pantone color of 2025 was Mocha Mousse, and I talked about this shade in my previous trend videos. It is a very muted, earthy tone. It's a little bit of a lighter brown color. However, coming into autumn winter, we are seeing the resurgence of those beautiful, rich brown hues as well. I am a huge fan of the color brown, and I have slowly been picking up lots of different brown colored items in my wardrobe. Brown handbags, which I find so easy to style all year round. Brown blazers, brown shoes. Brown really is the most sophisticated of neutrals. It's a little bit softer than black, but it's more exciting than beige. Just a fail-safe color. So really, if you're looking to incorporate a new color into your wardrobe this year and you want something that's on trend, brown is probably the safest bet that you're gonna get. The next big trend we're gonna be seeing for autumn 2025 is lace. This is a huge trend for this whole year. We saw lots of lace styling throughout the summertime, which is interesting because it can be a fabric that we more so see in autumn winter, and surprise surprise, it is huge news for the months ahead. We are seeing lace styled in kind of a more Victorian way, which is quite interesting. So it's a bit more maximalist. Things like ruffled lace collars, lots of lace details, as well as sheer lace details, sheer panels of lace on dresses. We're also seeing lace applique on different fabrics. So let's say lace trims on things. We're also seeing lace added to unexpected items like jackets, jumpers, things like that. We're seeing it styled in much more interesting ways this autumn winter. So you are going to see a lot more kind of Victorian style blouses come in on the high street. And if you're brave enough, I do think it is a really, really fun style to incorporate, even if you're doing it in a more subtle way. So the next trend we're going to talk about is kind of a continuation of lace, and it is ruffles. Some of these trends kind of blend into each other. There's always a little bit of cohesion with these different trends, but ruffles really deserve their own spot because ruffles are huge news for autumn winter. We have been wearing them all throughout spring summer, very much influenced by the bohemian trend, by the likes of Chloe, that modern bohemian style. Coming into autumn winter, ruffles are getting bigger, more voluminous. We're seeing them again in those ruffled collars that I mentioned, but also in those beautiful bohemian ruffled blouses, exaggerated ruffles, again, very Chloe inspired. If you were looking at one piece that encapsulates this trend really well, I would say an oversized ruffle powerful blouse. And this is something that a lot of us might have in our wardrobe. It's easy to also find on the secondhand market or vintage, styling it with your jeans, pairing it with skirts, pairing it with boots, really having fun with your layering. I think it offers such a fun bit of texture and volume and interest. Moving away from the more feminine romantic ruffles, another huge trend that we're seeing for autumn winter is powerful silhouettes and 80s tailoring. Is very much encapsulated by power suiting. Think exaggerated padded shoulders on blazers, even on tops and blouses, a really strong shoulder accentuated with a cinched or nipped in waist. Fantastic trend to work into your workwear wardrobe. If you're looking to inject a bit more confidence in your wardrobe, if you've got meetings, or if you just want to encapsulate that real 80s power businesswoman vibe into your outfits, then look at a power suit. Now this can be a trouser suit, it can also be a skirt suit. We're seeing this kind of vintage inspired style. We're also seeing it in a more modern way from brands like Schiaparelli. YSL always does the most amazing tailoring. We can see this filtering down onto the high street as well, so you can absolutely find it in a more affordable way. I would also say that when you're looking at where to invest in your wardrobe for autumn winter, I personally would always invest in my suiting and my tailoring. A really well tailored blazer, even if you're buying something and tailoring it to fit you, that is where I tend to invest at this time of year. Another shape or silhouette that is going to be huge for autumn winter is draping and caped styles with our outerwear. Looking at a little bit more drama in our silhouettes this season. So whether it's the soft romantic ruffles or the strong 80s silhouette, we are looking at more dramatic shapes. And I, for one, absolutely love this because I feel like it is just such a fun way to play with trends. This can be something like a draped coat or a cape style coat, for example. We're going to be seeing so much of these on the high street. We already saw them last season, but an easy way to incorporate this is by adding scarves to your coats and wearing them in a draped way. We did see a lot of matching scarf and coat sets, which again are a great thing to pick up because you can style them in different ways. You can also incorporate this trend just by styling what you already have and by adding your scarves, draping them in such a way and maybe adding a brooch here and there. It's definitely something that you can pick up on the high street, but you can also style yourself. Now, it wouldn't be a trend video if I didn't talk about at least one handbag trend, because as you guys know, it is my area of special interest, and I will have a dedicated video on all of the biggest handbag trends for autumn. I'm going to tell you one of the top handbag trends for 2025, and that is the soft, oversized slouchy bag. And this is something that we have been seeing trickling in. We are seeing a move away from structure and to more of, again, a soft, pillowy bag worn on the crook of the arm or tucked onto the arm, almost cradled like a pillow. I just think this is so chic. Interesting that we're seeing this soft, shapeless structure in our handbags almost as a way to offset the strong structural lines that we're seeing in our clothing. Often these styles juxtapose really, really well in an outfit. For example, if you're doing a structured suit with a strong shoulder and a nipped in waist, offset beautifully with an oversized slouchy bag. This slouchy style, you can obviously find styles like this on the high street. We are seeing it everywhere, not just from the designer labels, but from the mid-range labels, which I absolutely love. I have lots of recommendations. I'll have them linked below. Also on the high street as well. What you can also do is take one of your totes, for example, and style it in this way. Tuck your handles in, fold the top over slightly, and wear your handbag in this style without feeling like you necessarily need to pick up something new. Another massive trend we're going to be seeing for 2025, which was across so many of the designer catwalks, is the peplum shape. This is such an interesting one because it really had its moment back in the early 2010s. I think for a lot of us, we were reluctant, but really the modern peplum is just that. It's more sophisticated. I would say it actually is a very flattering silhouette. Much like the structured shoulder, the peplum style accentuates the waist and then flares out over the hips, so it can often just be a very flattering style to wear. We're seeing peplum jackets, button-up details with these lovely flattering peplum styles. We're also seeing peplum tops and blouses as well. If you're someone who does not love the peplum style, you don't have to wear it. That is absolutely fine. If you like a more structural fitted shape, then maybe try on a peplum style and see if it's for you. You'll often see peplum tops styled with the next trend that I'm going to talk about, which is the pencil skirt. Once again, something that we saw a lot in years past, but it is back with a bang, and we really saw saw this trickling through spring summer, knee length pencil skirt styles in kind of lighter fabrics for summer. We were seeing polka dot styles, we were seeing satin versions. For autumn winter, we are seeing these in leather fabrics, in heavier wool fabrics, again styled with those peplum silhouettes with powerful shoulders, really gorgeous matching suit styles. Reminds me so much of 80s and 90s Mugler. It's structured, it's powerful, it really exudes confidence. Perfect for your workwear wardrobe, but I also do think this is going to be styled for everyday wear as well. We're also seeing more voluminous skirts hitting at the knee length. Really, the pencil skirt was the style that dominated the runways. It's definitely something I will try out in some capacity. Again, I always say I am the guinea pig for you guys and I will definitely try it, but I don't know if this is a style that is going to really become a staple in my wardrobe. I would love to know in the comments below how you feel about the pencil skirt trend, or really any of the other trends I've been looking at in this video. I love hearing what trends you're loving or which ones you will be avoiding like the plague. Another styling trend we saw all over the runways this season is the kind of undone but chic trend. Vogue cleverly called this the high fashion frump. Think of things like mixing textures in kind of an unexpected way, pairing more like vintage or almost dowdy styles with more modern pieces. And a great example of this is the likes of Bridget Jones and the concept of the frazzled English woman, which I think is so funny. We always see these very specific kind of aesthetics come out every season. Last autumn winter it was the mob wife aesthetic, and this season we now have the frazzled English woman, which is so funny. The idea of being kind of frumpy but sophisticated, being frazzled but still fabulous. I think this is a trend that's a little bit difficult to get right. I definitely think it's something that can go wrong. I think there are ways that you can incorporate elements of this into your style by looking at, let's say, vintage pieces that are borrowed from your boyfriend, for example, like oversized blazers, a layering of scarves and knitwear. I think it's best to add undone elements alongside chic and tailored elements. I would love to know in the comments, will you be adopting the high fashion frump this year? Let me know. Another huge trend for autumn winter 2025 that I'm a little bit on the fence about is fringing. This is something that again we saw trickling in last autumn winter, and it has been building momentum, and it was all over the runways this season, and we're going to be seeing it so much on the high street as well. Fringe suede jackets, fringe trims on boots, fringe hems on dresses, and it doesn't have to be a heavy fringe, it can be a lighter, softer fringe as well. I think it's best to style this in kind of softer, more wearable ways as opposed to diving headfirst into this trend. I think a great way of doing this is with your accessories, for example, because it doesn't kind of commit to a head to toe effect. Fringe jackets and fringe elements are really great to find on the secondhand or vintage market rather than paying full whack for, let's say, a fringe suede jacket. So definitely keep that in mind if you want to try this trend out. Another accessory trend that is set to be huge for autumn winter is buccaneer style boots. Oversized, slouchy, almost pirate-esque boot. And this can be everything from a mid-calf length, a lower length, to a knee-high, even an over-the-knee boot. The most extreme version of this is the large, slouchy, oversized over the knee style boot, which we saw on the runways. While this is certainly a very interesting style that we have not seen in a while, it is definitely quite an out there style to take on. So if you are a fan of this type of slouchy boot, I would recommend maybe starting on the like lower to mid calf to knee high height before you jump into the over the knee boot. It's a trend that I will tentatively dip my toe in, maybe with a mid calf or a lower slouchy boot style first before I dive into the over the knee style. But again, let me know, is this something you'll be wearing? I know the slouchy boot definitely had its moment quite a few years ago, so potentially if you still have yours, then break them back out. Finally, we're going to talk about my favorite trend for autumn winter 2025, and surprise, surprise, it is an accessory trend. This trend is belt styling. This is something that we saw for spring summer, for the previous autumn winter. It has been trickling in more and more, and it is huge news for autumn winter. Belts are going maximalist. Maximalist styling in general has been creeping in more and more and more as we move away from the old money, the clean girl aesthetic. Fashion is definitely becoming more fun and interesting again, and I for one am so here for it. The reason why belt styling is my favorite of these trends is because it is so easy easy to incorporate. You probably already have belts in your wardrobe already. Start to layer them, stack them to really get this effect. We've seen so many styles on the runway. We've seen double and triple buckle belts worn together, chunky belts, we've seen low waist belts, belts being used to create that cinched waist silhouette, which I mentioned, which offsets the powerful shoulder really well. We've also seen more outrageous buckles, again leaning into that Western style. It's really something that is going nowhere, and again, it's my favorite trend of this season because it's such an easy way to tie in this trend and to have fun with your outfits without spending that much money. It's definitely a very low investment, maximum impact kind of thing. And if you're looking at these trends and you're looking for something new that you can try, I would recommend having fun with your belts and styling them in different ways. You can use belt styling to, let's say, break up a trench coat, a jacket, or a maxi dress. It's a great way to break up kind of longer lines of fabric. Instead of adding just one, maybe add 2 or even 3. Going for opposing textures and often colors can work really well. So if you're using, let's say, maybe some different neutral colored belts, or if you're styling, let's say, a suede belt with a leather belt. We've also seen a lot of stud details over the last few seasons, so you could incorporate maybe a studded belt with a smooth belt. Adds so much interest. It makes everything look really intentional and really styled. The easiest way to dress up what you already have in your wardrobe. I'll have an edit of all of my favorite belts linked in the description below, so be sure and check that out if you'd like to pick up some new styles that you can play with. That is my roundup of the top fashion trends that we're going to be seeing for autumn 2025. There are so many more huge fashion trends for autumn 2025 that we could cover, so do let me know in the comments below if you would like a part 2, and I will get working on that for you. If you enjoy watching these trend videos, then do give me a thumbs up to let me know, and if you have not already, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week and I would love to have you back for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye!